Hi, Mike. I think the team actually gets to move into their own dressing room now. Are you looking forward to getting back there and maybe trying to have some normalcy and an abnormal year?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the big, big things about playing in Edmonton is the brand new facility that we get to be a part of, and I think some of the new guys are excited to move back to the Rogers Center and the Rogers Place and get back into kind of a normal routine. And but saying that, I think the first few days of camp here at this facility has been awesome. I think the guys have really bought into to what Coach Tippett has been praising and or been preaching, sorry, and obviously guys are humming and ready to get back to Rogers Place.
Thank you.
Next question, Reed Wilkins, 630 Chad.
Thanks, Sean. Hi, Mike. Mikko's obviously your partner again, and Anton Forsberg is here. What do you think of the potential of having practices with three goaltenders? Does that change the flow, the amount you can participate in drills? I'm just wondering if you've been through that before in your career, and if it's any adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's been through a time or two when there've been three goalies around, or you're in camp and you've had multiple goalies. So I think it's just about getting what you need. I think there's going to be lots of ice time available to either get out early or stay out late. Just kind of get what you need to have to be prepared to play real well this year. And I think getting to know Anton a little bit, and obviously getting to know Mikko a little bit last year. Having a good relationship with both guys, I think we'll all get exactly what we need to feel good and be ready to go.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Sean.
Next question, Tony Brar, Oilers TV.
Hey, Mike. Happy New Year. Just going back to last season, your first season with the club, you and Mikko Koskinen split the crease almost 50-50 right down the pipe. Yet Mikko Koskinen had a career high in goals against average and save percentage, and you went on an absolute tear since the calendar flipped to January 2nd. What about your guys' dynamic brings out the best out of you two?
I think Mikko's just a great partner to be around and to have. He's just a quiet guy that just does his work and goes about his business and played real well for us last year. And I think that was one of our strengths last year. To be honest, I think whether it was one guy didn't have a great game or a great outing, the other guy was coming in next game to pick the guys back up on the back end. And it seemed like it was kind of we worked off each other real well last year in that sense, where there was no real stretch of time when goaltending was a huge issue for a team and was a real solid point to to lean on back there. So I think we'll both continue to do the same thing this year. We'll both want to play a lot of games, but knowing that it's going to be a condensed season and playing a lot of games in a short period of time, we're going to need both guys, and it's obviously going to be an important part of having success this year with our group. So obviously excited to be back here and excited to work with Mikko again, and hopefully we can bring the same kind of attitude and work ethic we did last year.
You mentioned the condensed season. Obviously, you guys will be playing almost each and every second night. How important is it to have a tandem like you and Mikko, where you guys feed off all each other? How important is that for the success of this hockey club?
Yeah, well, I think we've seen that from in the last 2 or 3 years in this league, where it's kind of turned to not just one guy taking the brunt of the games. I mean, there is a few teams out there that are still doing it, but I think for the majority of the teams, guys are relying on the two tandem, the two guy system more so than not now. So I think it's important that, especially this year being a lot of games in a short period of time, though both guys are going to be called upon to play some big minutes for this club. And I think both Mikko and I just want to be real solid back there for our group and hopefully take us into the playoffs and push forward and be a big reason why this team has success.
Next question, Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Hi, Mike. I just wanted to ask you about the short training camp and the no exhibition games. How does that kind of affect your preparedness for the season? And is that something that you think might affect, not necessarily you, but just the whole team as you get into it right away here?
Well, one thing about it is everyone's in the same boat. So I think, is it ideal? Probably not. But I think it's not like, 6 or 7 teams are getting exhibition games and one team isn't. So I think you look around the league and everyone has the same amount of time to get prepared for the season. It's going to be an interesting format with a Canadian division. I'm sure there'll be some exciting games and exciting rivalries. So obviously not an ideal situation we're in, but one that we're gonna have to grasp. And having a short camp, obviously we're gonna be thrown right into the fire right away. So there's gonna be important points right up for grabs right off the bat with game one. And I think from the start of camp, it's been preached that I think throughout the whole course of the league, there'll be the importance of getting off to a good start is real important. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
And everyone remembers that infamous Battle of Alberta last year with the big brawl. You're going to face them 10 times this year. Can you just give me a thought on just playing Canadian teams this year and how every game is probably going to be pretty intense? It's going to be fun for the fans. It's going to be fun for the players too.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like that's a lot of games to play against one team, but I think it'll definitely make for some exciting hockey and exciting rivalries. And obviously it'll be you'll have a lot of Canadian fans tuning into a lot of games. So I think, you get excited to play against Canadian teams and the Canadian rivalries. And, even when I was playing in the States, you always get excited to play in Toronto and Montreal and those arenas. And obviously now playing for a Canadian team and now you're playing against all Canadian and an all Canadian division is obviously unique and one that you're just going to have to grasp and take a hold of, and may the best man win.
Last couple of questions. Jack Michael, 630 Ched.
Mike, ordinarily, this is the kind of question I'd ask you at the end of a practice, but here we are on Zoom, so everyone has to hear it. Curious about the off season and wondering whether the walls of your house are still standing with those boys who I would have to characterize as high energy. I would imagine they do as good a job as anybody of keeping you in shape.
Yeah, absolutely. The walls are still intact. It was full dad mode. I'm not going to lie to you, but I moved to Kelowna in this past year and spent a great deal of time outside in the water this summer. The kids were fortunate enough to be back and playing hockey, and I was able to take part in some of those practices and be a part of those experiences where you're usually traveling a lot. So a lot of dad time and a lot of family time, which was, I'll cherish for a long time. Obviously they were sad to see me come back, but they won't be joining me right off the start here, but hopefully in the near future, they'll be back in Edmonton. Everything will be open back up and we can live a normal life again.
And that kind of leads me into my next question is you've done almost everything there is to do. You're, no offense, but you're probably on the back nine of your career. Maybe you'll prove me wrong, but what keeps bringing you back? Why come back? You've got a great family. Why were you so eager to get back?
I think there's one thing that I haven't accomplished in my career, and that's to win the Stanley Cup. And I think that's the one thing that keeps you coming back at my age, and the passion for the game and what it's given me is obviously, something that I've never taken advantage of. And I think just that ultimate goal of winning, I've always said, I just love to win and I want to have an opportunity to win a Stanley Cup. And I feel like we've added some great pieces to this team and have really made the Oilers a competitor and a team that'll be tough to reckon with this year. So I'm excited to be back and be in an Oilers uniform. And obviously, it's going to be an exciting year with being a Canadian division. So looking forward to the start.